Hello everybody, welcome to my tutorial. We are going to be working on basting month 10-2 of the Queen of Diamonds. So this is our second to last month that actually has blocks. The 12th month will be just the sashing and putting it all together. So we are getting towards the end, which is awesome and sad. So this one is not too complicated, but we'll go ahead and show you how we're gonna get it done. So we'll go ahead and jump in. So we have pieces J, X, A, and B to work with. So we're gonna start with J. That is going to be on these, and let me see. So it looks like it's just a non-directional, so we're just gonna do an easy cut on those. We need, looks like 6 diamonds to cut. So I will go ahead and do that. We'll do that in fast motion for you real quick because it's a super easy one. You don't have to worry about fussy cutting it at all. And we'll just use this fabric to get that done. Okay, so these are all cut out. I'm not going to baste them yet. I like to baste everything after I have everything all cut out, just to make sure that all my ears are going the right direction and don't interfere with each other. So we'll just set these aside for right now. So the next fabric that is not really fussy cut is going to be our letter A. I guess it's a little bit fussy cut, but it is going to just be the little fishes in the background that are on the hippo fabric. So I need 2 of those. And we need our hippo fabric, which we did get more of this with this month, but we also got it in a previous month, and I barely used it in the previous month. I think you can, which one is this? Yeah, you can see I used a little bit of the corner here, but there's still plenty left. So I'm just going to use the piece of fabric that's already cut up and then save the one that I got this month for another project. So we'll try to go in the same corner that's already been cut. So we'll come up here. So I will need my light box. This is just a light fussy cut. I'll turn off my overhead light so you can see the light box a little better. So it looks like it just has these little fish in the triangles. The biggest thing is making sure that they're going the right direction. So you're going to have a triangle that's going to be pointing up like this. So you want your fish pointing up for those. And then you're going to have a triangle that's pointing down. So you want to do the fussy cut like this, because if you did them both pointing up, then your fish would be swimming upside down on the bottom triangle, which would not be good. So we'll go ahead and put some glue down and find a spot that we like. So I like these guys. It's going to show a little bit of the shadow of the hippo, but I am okay with that because I'm not sure if there's really a way, or maybe over here actually. This one might be better. It's a little further away. Actually, let's see, I can get down here. Here we go, that's a good one. So just play around with your fabric until you find one you like. Remember, if you let your glue sit too long, it is going to dry out and your paper won't stick. So just, if you're taking a little longer than you anticipated, just re-glue it. So that'll be my up pointing triangle, and then I gotta find one I like for the triangle that's going to be at the bottom. So I have to make sure I do it like this. So this one's pointing up, this one's pointing down. So I might be able to actually use these guys. Yes, I can. All right. So we'll do that. All right, so I will go ahead and get those cut out and show you what that looks like. All right, so these are all cut out. I actually left my hippo fabric out because I am going to use that to do the center. I'll do that next. So you can see those are the two ways my fishies are gonna go. So they're both face up. So I will set those aside as well, and we will baste those in a minute. So the center of the block is a hippo with the bird. I think it's actually this one, but we're probably not going to use that one because it's kind of in the middle of everything. But that's the one we want. So that's going to go on this larger hexagon. And so again, I will turn on my light board. So I like using my light board for fussy cutting. If you've watched any of my other videos, you've seen me do that. I prefer it over acrylics because I can use my light board for every single quilt I do, and the acrylics are only for certain ones. Hopefully you can reuse them, but not always. So, and I just think it's faster to hand cut with scissors and just glue my papers down and use the light board to fussy cut. I think it's a lot faster to do it that way, so that's what I do. All right, so this has got, so you can decide if you want more of the hippo shadow, if you want a little more airspace above it. I'm gonna try to catch that fish that's floating up there. So we're just gonna put a couple of lines of glue down and go ahead and stick this down. This makes sure that my paper doesn't move when I'm cutting it. And I'll cut this in real time because it's just one piece. So I try to cut with a 3/8 inch border. That is my seam allowance. I don't like the 1/4 inch. I like a little bit thicker. Sometimes I'm even a little bigger than 3/8. If I'm smaller, it's not the end of the world. But I just try to aim eyeball for that. It's not a huge deal. The only thing is it might make it a little bit bulky when you're quilting, especially if you have smaller pieces. These pieces are pretty big, so it's not as big a deal. But if you're working on an EPP that has smaller pieces, the larger seam allowance can make it bulky when you're actually doing the final quilting of the entire thing. So just try to be consistent. I think I measured the first couple seams I did just so that I would have like an idea of what a 3/8 inch seam looked like. But after that, I just eyeball it. I'm not even on camera, am I? I'm trying not to cut the fabric behind this too. All right, woo, we got it. So that's my guy there. All right, so I'm gonna turn the camera off for a second just to fold up this fabric, and then we'll move on to the next one. All right, so the next fabric we're gonna work on, it's gonna use letter A again, and this time we need 6 of these. This is going to be a stripe. So this is also going to take some fussy cutting. We're not going to be able to cut in a double layer, which I do like to do if we don't have to fussy cut, but the stripes are going a certain way. They're radiating out from the middle on this one, so you can see the stripe goes through the top of the middle and is radiating out. So that's what we want to recreate. So again, I have an extra piece of fabric that I had with another month. I'm going to just cut this piece off because I don't think that's a useful piece. And we'll save that for my 1/4 inch hex seed project. So I am going to turn on my light board. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we'll turn off the light. So I'm definitely going to have to cut into this month's fabric, but that's fine. So the way this works, I'll try to zoom in a little so hopefully you can see it better, is the stripe is going to go right down the center of the triangle, and you kind of just want to eyeball. So in order for it to be straight, so you can see these two ends touch another line so it's even. And the way that I'm going to base this to make sure it doesn't move around is I'm going to actually put glue right to the tip of each corner and then a little bit in the middle, and that way my corners do not move at all, and this will hopefully come out perfect. So make sure you leave enough seam allowance, press down your corners, press down your middle, and that piece should not move at all. Now, if I had enough space, which I don't on this particular piece, I would just keep going along like this and do the next one even a little closer with enough seam allowance. Obviously, I don't have enough space on this particular piece, but that's what I'm going to do on my additional piece that I got with this month. So I'm going to go ahead and do that in fast motion, and we'll go from there. So the stripes are all done, so we have those all correct, and again we're going to base those once we have everything cut. I do like to base once everything's cut for this particular block, just to make sure that all the tails go the right way and stuff like that. So our last piece in this particular block is going to be piece B, and it's going to be these tent stripes. Sorry, I don't have my light on, but I still need my light box, so I figured I'd just leave that off. So the tent stripes are basically centered, so that's what we want to use our light box for, to make sure that those stripes are centered. I believe I have extra fabric here as well. Lots of extra fabric in this block of the month, which has been super awesome. Actually, it's allowed me to use the fabric elsewhere, which has been really cool. I'm actually making a Cherish quilt, which is by Tales of Cloth, if you want to look that up. And I will try to do a video on that as well. Okay, so I think okay, so the way this is going to work is the two brown lines are basically going to be centered on this top edge. So you have two brown lines going down, and that's simple as that. And then just try to make sure your corners are pretty even, and we shouldn't have any issues. So we'll do a nice solid line of glue across the top and bottom just to make sure, again, these don't move when we are cutting them out. So make sure everything is nice and centered, and there you go. And then we'll do the same for the next piece. Just make sure we're leaving enough seam allowance, and make sure you're eyeballing that bottom. Looks good. All right, so I will just go ahead and actually cut this out now rather than doing it in fast motion, since this is a quick one. then just cut this across. And we blunt, so if you happen to ever look at any of the acrylics, or if you've bought them, you know that the pointy ends that have tails get blunted so that the tail is not quite as long. So that's what I like to do. I'll go ahead and turn my regular light back on now. So I do like to do that even though I'm hand cutting, because it just makes those tails not as bulky. So that's what I'm doing there. And we have everything all done. So I have all my pieces trimmed out, so I'll lay them out and figure out which way I want my tails to go, and I'll be right back to show you all that. So I took some stationery videos about how I basted these, and I will do a voiceover on those, so to show you how these all got basted. I did a Stitch and Bitch with Family, and I think it's weird to take videos there, so let me just go through that real quick, and then we'll show you the wrap up. So for the hexagon, it's just a standard basting, just fold in all the sides, pretty straightforward. Then you want to lay out your triangles so you have all the points going the correct way. I also laid out my side pieces just to make sure they all fit. And then those I basted with the tails going the same direction. Then you can see how they all fit here. So for the triangles, I basted the bottom first and then going around each side to make sure the tails go into the center. And you can see here my tails go straight into that hexagon, which works out perfectly. The diamonds, the tails go out to the side. For the stripes, I basted with the long side with the tails going sideways so they don't interfere with anything. And then you can see how I did the top and bottom triangle as well. So all of these based to get, so the tails all go away from each other, and I'll do a quick video with a wrap up in just a second, but you can see here how all the tails fit into each other and do not interfere with each other, which is the biggest thing you want to take care of. So let me just go over one more time on how these tails work. So for the triangles, I did the two tails pointing down. So the way that you do that is you make sure your bottom part, so when you lay these out, this will be your bottom side, gets basted over first, and then do the two sides, and that'll make your tails go down into the hexagon so that they do not interfere with anything. So we'll just place these down so you can see how those go in, just like that. Okay, I'll just do the top part because on my video it'll be hard to show the whole thing. And then for the diamonds, I do my tails going the same direction. That was a suggestion that I picked up from Tula in one of her videos. So we don't do this with the Tumbling Cosmos because of the way that pattern is built, but generally this works really well. And the nice thing about it is if you have your tails going opposite directions, no matter which way you turn it, you're always going to have a tail in the way. But if you do your tails going the same direction, I can either have my tails going like this, which means I now have a tail in the way, or I can flip it and now I have no tails in the way. So it kind of gives you better options for dealing with those tails when you make them go the same direction. So that's what we did here. So these are going to go out and away. So this will go into the sashing over here, and then this one goes into the stripe, but it goes into the middle of the stripe, so there's no interference whatsoever there. Then for the stripe, again, you have two options. You can make your tails go up like this, or you can make them go out. Of course, you can also make them go opposite directions. That is not needed here. So I made my tails go out into the sashings. I just thought that was a little bit easier. So in order to achieve that, you start with these three sides and then do your long side last, and that will make your tails go out to the side. And you can see these two tails are going to be covered by that striping, so no interference there. And then for the top piece, it really doesn't matter how you baste these triangles at all. I chose to baste it so that there was a flat edge and my tails went out, because I find it actually a little bit easier to line it up when my tails are out on a triangle. So if I can do that, I do that on the side that's going to end up being along the other piece, if that makes sense. So when I line this up like this, I just made sure that that bottom part was the last one I basted, and that makes my tails go each way, and then it just fits like this. All right, so that is a little bit of tail theory on this block. This was a fairly straightforward block, but a few little fussy cut things to deal with. So hopefully this video was helpful to you. Thank you for watching. As always, if you subscribe to my YouTube video, YouTube will tell you when I post a new one. I do not post them consistently. I don't make any money off of this. I don't make money off the ads or anything like that. Those are all put on by YouTube. It's just something fun that I like doing. I like helping you guys. So any comments and anything that, you know, words of encouragement, I definitely and truly appreciate. I hope you do enjoy the videos. Make sure you check out all my other videos for Queen of Diamonds. I'm also working on Tumbling Cosmos. I also posted a video that shows all of the tools and everything that I use and links to buy them on Amazon. I also don't make any money off of that, but I just wanted to share with you what I use and hopefully help you out in your process of doing EPP. I feel like it's a lost art. It used to be a really popular years and years and years and years ago, 1800s and such, and kind of has fallen by the wayside. So it's a lot of fun to get new people into it and realize how easy it can be. So if you have any questions, please feel free to comment below. I am always happy to help, and hopefully we'll see you in another video. Bye everybody.